So I'm Jon Winder, I work for Plan International, a little bit at the top. I've got a confession to make. It's a flattering resume there. I've done some business intelligence implementation as well, but I don't consider myself to be particularly technical. And I'm standing in front of some of the most technical people you could gather in a room, probably south of Silicon Valley. So I'm a little bit nervous. You're a scary bunch. I can't teach you anything technical. I've got no new tech to tell you about. We're a charity, that's not really our business. But what I hope that we can do is discuss some of the ways that we're using some tried and tested digital technology and applying it in slightly different ways, ways that you may not be as familiar with, as we try and meet that 100 million reason strategy and try and close that digital gender divide. So let me tell you a little bit about Plan International, because I'm guessing a lot of you won't have heard of us. Based in the UK, you've probably worked that out already. We've been around for 75 years. That's one of the biggest, longest NGOs out there. And we're one of the biggest child-focused NGOs as well. We work in 75 countries across Europe, where we're raising funds, and we also raise funds in the Americas and Asia. And we do our development work, working with children, especially girls, across Africa, Asia, and the Americas. I'll give you an idea of some scale. So last year we raised $1 billion US. We worked in 50,000 communities across the developing world. We worked with something like 1,200 local NGOs to do the work that we do. And we got involved with over 3,000 government institutions. But it's not about the people we work with, but they're important. It's about the work that we do. It's about the work that we're doing with the children in the communities. So last year we worked with 2 million children in disaster scenarios, and we're responding to disasters. We had 6,000 people benefited from the work that we did in water and sanitation. I said 1,000, I meant million. And 12 million people benefited from the work that we did in early life support. So 1 to 5, keep them alive, Healthy Start program. I've noticed that the timer's not working yet, so I might have stolen some extra time there in case anybody wants to click the button. Thank you. Okay. But what about the girls? You'd have read that up there when I'm talking. Our focus is on girls. Well, last year we worked with 2.8 million girls to get them to have an education that they otherwise wouldn't have got. So girls are important. Let me show you a video about why we decide that girls is the most important focus. We could play the video now, please.
Because I'm a girl, I love braiding my sister's hair, dancing and playing with my friends, drawing diagrams and solving equations. Because I'm a girl, I have dreams. When I grow up, I want to be a doctor, a judge, or maybe a scientist. And I dream of having a family with my true love. But I know that none of these dreams will come true. Because I'm a girl, I'll be forced to drop out of school like so many other girls my age. Because I'm a girl, boys bully me. Men desire me. School is no longer a safe place for me to be. Because I'm a girl, I get up first and cook and clean. I come last in my family. Because I'm a girl, I have to get married at 13. have babies before my body is ready, and have more children than I can keep healthy. Girls like me, without an education, are the poorest on the planet. We have no control over our lives and no way out of poverty. I know that staying in school would mean a better life than my mother. Then I could lead the way for my sisters and friends. We could decide our future, when to marry and which job. And together we could show everybody how girls make the community stronger and richer. The people at Plan see the potential in girls like me. They'll help me stay in a good, safe school, find new and better ways for my family to earn money, and give me skills for life so that I stay healthy and be all I can be. Give me a chance and I'll take it from here, because I am a girl.
Okay, that was nice for me to sit up on that big screen. That's impressive. So we're doing all this stuff. We must have done digital right across all those countries, yeah? No, we've got some challenges. We've got pockets of excellence, but it's a real challenge for us to be able to scale to that size. Challenges such as budget. You've all got budget challenges. I bet you haven't got the same budget challenges I've got. Anybody not got any budget challenges? Like to put your hand up? Yeah, I didn't think so. Otherwise, I'd have liked some of that. Not only have we got a small budget, actually Avasant carried out a study for us that showed that with our peer INGOs, we're in the lower quartile of IT budget compared to organisational income. So we try and make our budget go as far as we possibly can. And we've got risk-averse donors that give us the money. You know, normally we say we're going to learn fast. We're going to fail, we're going to learn from that failure. And do you know what? 10th time we come up with that killer app, we don't get a 10th time. We get maybe 1 or 2 chances after that. That's expensive IT and you're failing. So that's a challenge. Well, do in-house development then. I don't have an in-house development team. I've got a team of about 30 to manage IT across 11,300 people within the organisation. We don't have any in-house development, that's all outsourced. That's one of the ways we keep our costs low. And if Bill Gates or, I don't know, Batman comes and tells us that he's got a fabulous new piece of tech for us, and we can have it for nothing. Well, that's great, thank you. Can I have some more money, please, though? Because I need to keep that tech safe, I need to develop it further, I need to enhance it. So that's a challenge for us too. But we've got some strengths. Our strategy, the 100 million reasons strategy, calls out using technology to help us reach those 100 million girls. And our chief exec, a fantastic lady, she completely gets technology, which is helpful. And you know, coming to work, I've got a great focus every day. I mean, it's nice to come to LA, the sun's shining, but I don't mind going to work in the rain in the UK either, because I know I've got a great job and I know that we're doing a really good cool stuff. And because of that, we're able to attract quite a lot of talent that maybe we wouldn't normally be able to attract for our funds. So we get lots of people who work in consultancy, come and work for us. They bring their toolbox, they bring their frameworks, they develop those. And that helps with some of the opportunities we've got. We've got huge opportunities there. We've got the access. I talked about the 3,000 government institutions. We've got 1.3 million sponsor children. We've got so many people we can reach. And we've got the use cases. We know what the problems are. And if we don't, we talk to the children and they tell us what the problems are. And we're able to use user-centered design. We go into the communities, we talk about the challenges, we work with those communities, we co-design some solutions, some technical, digital solutions, and then we go through the traditional cycle that you'll all be familiar with, and I'll probably get in the wrong order. So we ideate, we test, ideate, develop, test. And then we go live with a pilot. And we got some seed funding to help us get to pilot stage. So that's great, but can we then scale that across the entire organisation? And have we got enough resources to work out how to find solutions to all those use cases? No, we don't. So what are we doing about that? Well, we've looked at, can we grow the skills internally? No. I mean, that's a slow thing to do in any organisation, but particularly a relatively low-paid organisation, and particularly when some of your skills base is coming from places like Central Africa, the Republic, or Sudan. So my chief exec says, can we just not go and buy some tech startup? Well, we could try, but I don't think they're going to want to work with us. They want to do cool stuff really quickly, and then they're going to get bored and they do new cool stuff, and they're certainly not going to want to be able to work with the SDGs that you saw up on the screen on Kevin's presentation. They're not going to work within a relatively high bureaucracy that they're used to. So we need to do this through partnerships. We've done quite a bit, but our digital strategy calls on us to do more. Okay, Winder, so what have you done? Well, we've done some digital marketing. Of course, we have fundraising is important to us, but those fundraisers, so when you talk about customer experience, that's not our main focus. Our main focus is down in what we call the field. But we've done some. So there's a few examples. Twitter, we've done social media. Probably the most interesting social media there is the young lady in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, all you Norwegian speakers here would have worked out that says "Stop the Wedding." At least I hope that's what it says. That girl's 12 years old. We ran a campaign talking about the build-up to her marriage to her 37-year-old husband. Caused a bit of a stir. We got 2.5 million followers of the blog. We got 5 million Twitter hits. And we got even people in Hollywood complimenting the campaign, but it did cause a lot of fuss. People saying that's outrageous, you can't do that. But what's outrageous? Is it that, or is it the fact there are 39,000 girls and boys who get married every day of the year? What's so bad about getting married when you're young? When we're talking about children, that's under the age of 18, but we could be going down to 10, 14. Sounds like a good thing, but actually if you're a girl, you get married at that age, you can forget education. That's gone, that's past. And you lose all control of your life. And you've got a good chance of catching all sorts of diseases. That sounds counterintuitive, but your husband needs to go away, he's got to find work. Gets lonely when he's working. You know what I'm saying? Comes back, girl gets diseases. The best way to stop a child in Africa becoming HIV, a girl, is to stop her marrying early. So that's what that campaign was all about. And what we do is we work in those villages, in those communities. We educate the elders, we talk about the challenges, and we, of course, educate the children. And we talk about keeping them in education. What about data? Big data, yeah? I don't know if ours is big. 40% of our funds come through something called child sponsorship. If any of you want to play child sponsorship, my colleagues in the US office would be delighted to hear from you. And what you would get once you've linked to your sponsor child, is an annual update. And the annual update will say things like Shivali, because you want to sponsor a child in India. Over the last year, has been well, no diseases. But she's dropped out of school at X level. And the reason she's dropped out of school is because her elder sister has died of malaria. And that means that Shivali now has to look after her siblings. She still lives in a house with concrete walls and a tin roof. There's some good news. Water is now in the street that she's living in. So she doesn't have to walk half an hour just to fetch water. Now that information is collected across 1.3 million children every year in a templated format. And we can analyse that data and we can get results a bit like this. So we've mentioned some of these. You can see that Benin is the place to go if you want your child to get married very young. You can see links there between quality of housing and quality of health, access to clean water, and our friend education, which we talked about quite a bit. You see how girls drop out of education a lot more than boys. That's in West Africa. Now we can go right down to the village level with that data. We've compared it to UNICEF's. Ours is better. I mean, it's comparable, but we can get right down to much more detail. But I've only got 2 people that can do that analysis, and one of those works on the financial side of things. There's been talk about monetizing this data, but I do think we could work with a lot more partners to do a lot more with this data, to bring in new insights and to get better visualization tools. These aren't the best. My favorite topic. I'm guessing not many of you have heard of ICT for D, ICT for development. That's where we focus our digital areas. This is about using technology in the programs, as we call, in those developing countries to help achieve our 100 million reasons goal. That could be something as simple as solar panels on the top of street lighting so that children feel safe to come home when it gets dark. Or it could be something as sophisticated as Facebook. I don't know if you've seen any of the work they're doing showing migration of displaced communities. So if you take Bangladesh, they can show that when you get floods in Bangladesh, people are moving away from the floods. But they can also show you where the concentration of people are, and you can overlay that with data around areas that are vulnerable to flooding. And at the top of the country, you can see the Rohingya coming across from neighbouring countries, from Myanmar into Bangladesh. So that's a pretty cool method of using data in an ICT for D context. Talk about some of the things we've done. Girls Out Loud is one of our use cases. We have a problem. Girls are often very limited possibilities to talk to each other beyond their nearest communities about the challenges that they're facing. We've talked about some of those, dropping out of school. Some other areas that are less easy to talk about. FGM, ostracisation during periods. Sorry if you're squeamish, these are things we get used to talking about in NGOs all the time. And if you're feeling squeamish, well, what's it like for the kids in the communities they're working in? And they can't even talk about it with people. So this is to allow them to be able to talk to people and to start to lead those conversations rather than have a grown-up doing that for them. Now this is supposing that the elders in the village are happy for that to happen. It's not always the case. And it's also supposing that the communities want the children to have access to technology so that we can start to close that digital gender divide. There's also a supposition there, or a hypothesis, that we can scrape that data and use that data in interesting ways. Most of you will have had a look at the fact that it says we use existing social media platform. Anybody guess what that one is? Don't be shy. I can't even see if you're there, frankly. You could all be asleep. I can't tell. The light's in my face. Someone shout out a popular social media platform that's in the press at the moment, just so I know you're there. That's right, Facebook. Bit worrying, isn't it? We're talking about scraping data, sensitive data from Facebook. I think we all need to be talking about data ethics a lot more than we are now. There's another one. That last one was a partnership with Accenture, and that's been done in Colombia, and the girls in Colombia helped design the whole thing. This one is focused in the Philippines, and This is addressing the problem that girls in the Philippines, and I think other places as well, challenged to find really good jobs. And that's a big problem. Because if you don't find the right job in some of these countries that we work in, you end up in a sweatshop or something much worse. So, a really important issue for us to address. And the way we're doing this, co-designed with girls in the Philippines, is that we will create a chatbot, Facebook Messenger. And as they're talking, they start to understand, so, what do you do at home then? Well, I look after the children. Good organisation skills, childcare, it's transferable skills, and I do the cooking. Well, that's fast, great, that's transferable, we can use that. And I actually manage the household and the budget, so you've got some financial skills as well. So you can start to build up a CV. And that's what we do. We build up a CV, we look against the database, and we find some training that we have on our database that they can participate in. And we've also got a list of jobs, and we can coach them to be able to apply for those jobs. That one is, again, with Accenture. We're running it as a pilot through to July, and we want to expand it much more broadly. It appears to be working. Other ICT for D. There it is. So this is very similar to some of the discussions that were being held yesterday when Kevin was talking about the Avasant Foundation. Yeah. So this one is using solar to be able to set up classrooms, to be able to teach children how to use digital. That picture there, that's actually Ethiopia. But we've got a similar thing happening in Pakistan. And the reason that's important, the whole solar thing, is often our biggest challenge is not connectivity. We can put up VSAT, you can use mobile. The biggest challenge is often power. Youth building, the future. This is another teaching-focused one. This one's in Brazil. The last one was in partnership with a telecoms community organisation in Pakistan. This is with Accenture again. In Brazil, solar media backpack. What's that, you're thinking? Well, we can go into any remote community with a backpack, carry it. It's pretty heavy, you can carry it. And you can use the sun to be able to do filming, recording, and you can leave that in the community. It's relatively easy to use. And then you can come back. So they're in control, they're filming. And then they can use that for local influencing. So these are all examples of ICT for D. Blockchain, sorry, not blockchain. We can't do blockchain in case anybody asks me later. We just don't. We have some use cases, but we do not have the skills and we can't afford to get those skills. We're preparing the use cases for when somebody comes along and says they'd like to work for us. Minecraft. Children in Vietnam have been using Minecraft. We've been doing this in partnership with the UN to design, as it says there, urban planning. And there's a bunch of other stuff I could talk about for ages, but I won't bore you. I do want to show you this video. This is picking up on the theme of education, of girls and partnership. This is a film that was put together by our colleagues in the India office. If you could play that one for me, please.
तो बीच में पढ़ाई बंद हो गई तो हमने घर से निकलना बिल्कुल बंद कर दिया। घर ही में रहते थे। लड़कियां बिल्कुल किसी के सामने ना बोलती थी, चुप रहती थी, हमसे भी कम बोलती थी, पापा से तो बिल्कुल ही कम डरती थी। जैसे देखा कि 7 की लड़कियां आगे निकल चुकी हैं बहुत, ये पीछे हैं घर में। जैसे बाहर डरते थे हम बेटियों को बाहर भेजने में। तो हमें अच्छा लगा। मैं आई थी घर पे, मैं लड़कियों को बताती थी कि चलो वहाँ चल के पता चलेगा, अगर अच्छा लगे तो बैठना, नहीं मत बैठना। तो ये गई, इन्हें अच्छा लगा, इन्हें वहाँ पे जाना स्टार्ट कर दिया।
8th क्लास से छोड़ दिया था मैंने स्कूल। और मेरे पापा का भी उस टाइम पे यही कहना था कि लड़कियों को कौन सी नौकरी करानी है, घर पे ही तो बैठना है उन्हें। अब क्या ना, अब मैं इसमें आती हूँ तो मतलब क्या एक्टिविटी वगैरह करती रहती हूँ और पढ़ती रहती हूँ। इतनी अच्छी अच्छी क्लासें लगती हैं, जैसे कि साइंस, इंग्लिश, मैथ, कि जैसे कि कागज़ वगैरह के इयररिंग्स बनाना, चेयर बनाना और बत्तख वगैरह बनाना। ये मैंने अपनी फ्रेंडों से सीखा था इधर आके जैसे कि मतलब पहले मैं किसके सामने बोल नहीं पाती थी, बहुत ही ज़्यादा शर्माती थी। मतलब अब मैं मतलब अपनी सबके सामने अपनी बात रख देती हूँ, बोल पाती हूँ।
We have had 12 learning centers so far, and in these 12 centers, what we had when we started out, we were thinking that we will cover or touch the lives of 15,000 girls over a period of 3 years. But when you measure impact in terms of actual responsiveness that we are receiving from the people, let's say, you have to see that, and you have to see that light in their eyes, you have to see the glint in their eyes.
This is interactive. Girls have the opportunity to ask questions, respond, and that's what makes it like very real for the girls. It's like having a facilitator right there.
अच्छी चीज़ ये लग रही है कि वो दिल से और लगन से जो है ना, जो भी काम कर रही है वो दिल के साथ और लगन के साथ कर रही है। आगे बढ़ के जो है इसके टीचर बनने की जो इसकी ख्वाहिश है, वही अपनी ख्वाहिश पूरी कर लेगी।
Okay, one more video.
Alma had big dreams, but her dreams were dashed when she was forced to drop out of school, aged just 15. She's not alone. Around the world, more than 600 million young people like her are not in education, employment, or training. Alma heard about Plan International's work to provide young people like her with the knowledge, skills, and confidence they need to make their dreams a reality. Through Plan International, she learned that girls and boys should have equal chances to pursue their own goals, that she could work for an employer or become an employer herself. But Alma couldn't attend classes in the city. She needed another option. Plan International's Yes digital ecosystem offered her one. It provides courses for young people like Alma, which have been developed by experts who understand the country, the market, the opportunities, and what works and what doesn't, so they can learn what, when, and where they want. After completing her course, Alma was ready for the world of work. Plan International helped her find a place at a local company thanks to strong partnerships with the private sector. Alma was lucky, as her placement led to a permanent job. By monitoring Alma's progress every step of the way, we are gathering data to enhance and maximize the impact of the programs we offer. With 1 billion young people entering the labor market in the next decade, we need evidence-based, scalable, and effective employment solutions now. Plan International's digital platform provides these solutions. We are working across Africa, Asia, and the Americas so that young people like Alma gain the skills they need to succeed in the world of work. But we can't do it alone. We need more and better partnerships to scale up our programs and create decent job opportunities for everyone. Alma was able to realize her ambitions and live the life she imagined. Every young person deserves that chance. Together, we can make it happen.
Okay, last slide. A couple of things to say. Recap. We talked about Plan International scale. We talked about some of the slightly unusual applications of technology that we're doing to enable us to empower girls, enable them to learn, lead, decide, thrive. We talked about how there's a challenge for us to actually take that to the scale that it could be. But there's some fantastic opportunities to work with some partners to help us in that. If you're interested, if you want to take up that offer, I'll be around all day. Come and see me. My contact details are there. Or you can just contact the US office as well on the internet. Two more things to say. One, I want to thank Avasant for having me here today and for the great work that they do to help us as well. We've had 3 engagements in 6 months. It's really helping us. It's moving us forward. And the last thing I want to say is thank you for listening and for watching. It turned out you weren't as scary after all. Thanks.